Hello and welcome back to Nearly Nerds. I am James, this is Collection Corner, and today we've got a binder full of vintage Pokemon cards. Now this binder belongs to Natty. Natty, of course, is my partner on the channel, and he is actually coming back very soon because his house is completed. So he will be back on the channel very soon. We'll be doing content together, but this is his binder. Now in here is an absolute array of vintage Pokemon cards. We've got base set 2, we've got jungle, we've got gym heroes, we've got it all. So we're going to get into this and sort of get an idea of how much all the cards are worth and get a look at all of those really big hitters. I know he's got a Charizard in here, so we'll get in there very soon and have a look at him. So let's take this to the corner right now and value Natty's Pokemon collection. Right then, so here we have a vintage binder of Pokemon cards. A vintage binder of Pokemon cards? A binder of vintage Pokemon cards. That sounds more correct. Now, the front page, as you can possibly see, is Jungle. So there's an absolute array of Pokemon here. All the Pokemon cards. We've got ourselves a Rhydon. I love that Rhydon card. This Pikachu is obviously hugely popular. Then on this page, we're looking at the evolutions. I'll tell you what, we've only got the one. We've got the Vaporeon there at the top, and then Eevee, Pinsir, Mr. Mime. There's a Snorlax, the holographic Snorlax. I used to love that Snorlax in holographic. Then over here, there's a Japanese Seaking. Hello, Mr. Seaking. How are you doing, sir? That's I mean, it's still jungle, so it fits on the page. And then over here, we are looking at Fossil. Now, Fossil, stunning set. This Omastar was always one of my favourites. Omastar was always a favourite of mine. Even now, in the on Pokemon Go, he's nails. So I love a good Omastar. Magneton, Slowbro, Seadra. There's an Arbok. These cards, I mean, I haven't seen these cards since I was a child. So this is quite magical, to be honest with you, to be able to steal this off Natty so I can show you guys, but also reminisce myself, because this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. Here are some holographics. So we have got some more Japanese cards here at the top. Kabuto, there's a Graveler there, but then below it is where we get base set 2. So we've got Wigglytuff, we've got Gyarados, and I don't know why I'm hitting on the side here, but I'm definitely hitting stuff. There's a Scyther, we've got the holographic Kangaskhan, and then the Electrode. I will go through these in more detail in a second so we can get an idea of prices. I'm probably going to aim mainly for the price of the holographics, and then we'll try and figure out a way of looking at the price of all of the non-holos. Maybe in another video. I think this will be a long-ass video if we end up pricing up every single card. But look at this page here. Here are the most incredible trio of Pokemon cards you can find. And they're all base set 2. They're all identical. They're all sat there together. That is absolutely stunning. By here then we have the Alakazam, we have the Chansey and the Clefable. And below, this Pidgeot, when I was a kid, always used to throw me off. Do you know when an image just doesn't seem to line up right and you can't figure out where the head is? This is one of those images. And that has a fat little swirl on it. Let me see if any of the other ones have any swirls. So the Charizard, I can't see a swirl. The other two, usually Blastoise sometimes has like a big swirl behind it, but it doesn't seem to be one. If I'm being honest, the holographic's coming out better on camera than it is in person because of my big light. So I'm struggling to see anything past just straight up shiny. But yeah, there's Hitmonchan and there's the Poliwrath as well. Whoo, here we go. Now then, so we have... Here is, sorry about knocking the camera, there's a Haunter from Fossil. I think these are all Fossil, actually. Yeah, they are. So we've got Haunter there, Articuno, and then by here we've got the Kabutops. We do have, and I'm struggling to get it on camera properly, but we do have a first edition Machamp holographic by here, and that might just be one of the biggest hitters in here alongside that Charizard. Dark Weezing from Rocket. Then we got the Vaporeon, Dark Dugtrio, and Dark Arbok. Any of the first editions that we find in here are going to be worth an absolute arm and a leg. So even if we find just a non-holographic one, we'll probably still price it up because the first edition is just too much of a wanted thing. And then on this page we got the gym leaders or gym heroes. I'm not sure. Is it gym hero? I'm pretty sure it's gym heroes. There's Erica's Bellsprout, which is a creepy image, but this Brock's Golem was always one of my favourites. Brock Golem was always one of my favourites growing up, to be honest. I don't know why. As an adult now, I kind of look at it and I think I'm not really sure why I loved him so much. But I really did. Here is a load of Japanese cards. Fair play. Didn't know Natty was so invested in the Japanese cards. Don't know what's wrong with me today. Back to English over here. But, ooh! That's a banned Pokemon card. That's not the image that's banned, but this is a banned Pokemon card. The Japanese version of this is banned. The image is, if I'm not wrong, is a Sentret, like sucking off a mill tank. It's really, really weird. Now, look at this. Look at this boy over here. We have the full evolution line of Charmander. We also have the full evolution line of Dratini to Dragonite. And then we have the full evolution line of Oddish to Dark Vileplume. These are... I haven't seen these cards. I remember when I was a kid, I found a Dark Charizard in a pile of cards out in the field. And there was no one around, and I was really confused. So I took them home. And eventually, one day, a kid turned around and came and knocked on my door. And he said about me having this big pile of Pokemon cards. And I explained to him, yeah, I found your Pokemon cards. I found your Pokemon cards. I gave them back to him. But he let me keep the Dark Charizard. It's the only card that I got to keep. And I really, God, for the life of me, wish that I still had my collection. Because I would have had that in that collection. That would have been lovely. There's a Mewtwo. It looks like it's been... I mean, he has been created by evil scientists. So that kind of fits the bill, to be honest. And then this Zapdos down here is a promo. I'm not sure what that promo was from, but I will find out in a moment. Back with some Team Rocket. So we got the 3... Hoo-hoo! You know what? That is a hell of a big hit. The 3 Evolutions. Dark Kadabra. That Magnemite card was always a weird card, but I liked it. Who else have we got on here? There's Dark Trio. We've got that weird Mankey artwork that was always strange as well. Some of the older artworks are... I mean, I love them. They're nostalgic as hell, but they're a little bit strange. And then there's a Dark Rapidash. A Dark Rapidash up here to the left. So Natty's got another banned card, but obviously this one isn't banned because the artwork is changed. Here is the Grimer. Obviously this one, in the banned form, is staring up that little girl's skirt. So, paedophile Grimer. Stay away from Grimer, kids. Then we've got over here, oh, I tell you what, the full match-up to Dark Machamp line. That is stunning. We've got the Squirtle, Dark Wartortle, but he doesn't have the Dark Blastoise, but that doesn't matter, because he does have the Dark Golduck, and that card was always super cool. I love the way the red flashes off the water. That is one hell of a cool card. And then, we have the Dark Gyarados that we saw not long ago. Oh my god, I can't get it through. There's Dark Gyarados. We saw this not long ago with Celebrations. That is one hell of a cool card. I got about 50 of the Celebrations version now. Also got about 50 of these in the Celebrations version. Also got one of these. And yeah, I think that's all of the cards on this page that are from Celebrations. But yeah, there is a ton of classic cards on this page. I honestly, this is like tricking my memory so much into remembering everything about these. I remember opening these cards and being absolutely hyped that I had these cards. Here is oh, it looks like he's done base set 2 here now, just in the regular order. So we've got 66, nope, 66, and then 81. So I'm lying, completely lying. Why is that the case? That doesn't make any sense. Surely they should be right next to each other, because then that's... Yeah, it's out of 130 as well. So they're all bang on. I'm not sure why they're numbered the way they're numbered, but they're not numbered in order. So that's really strange. There's the pincer there. Over here, then, we've got... Is that a holographic Venom? Oh, no, it's not a holographic Venomoth. Then we have just the majority of the... There's a Yellow Chicks. There's a Yellow Cheeks Pikachu. That's beautiful. There's a Lickitung eating out of a tree. This is unbelievable. How on earth does someone keep this for this long? It's hella impressive. Right then. Over here, there's that Snorlax again. I don't think there was a holographic Snorlax. So that's a little bit sad. But other than that, we got the rest of them. There is the Nidoran, Nidorino, Nidoran, Nidorina. We haven't got the Nidoqueen and the Nidoking. I'm not sure if I saw them in the holographics page, but I do not remember. This is very close to being a master set. I mean, there's missing a fair few cards, but I think I have to send Natty back to his house to have a gander and see if he's just sort of left any in a box somewhere, because he's very close to having a complete set here. There's the Ghastly, which was a Gengar. That Gengar would have been oh, no, ignore me. There's the Imposter Professor Oak we all got from Celebrations. I'm stupid. I kind of wish they made a Gust of Wind Celebrations card, because this card, that's one of the most nostalgic cards ever. It was dumb, but it was, whenever I saw it, it would always stick to my memory. This page, just a load of trainers and potions. Then we got the Machokes and the Onyx at the bottom here. Oh, they're actually part of the next page, so ignore me. These are, okay, so these are base set and limited, I believe, if I'm not wrong, because they haven't got the logo. That is absolutely chewed up to the max, I'll tell you that much. But I think these are the worst quality cards I've seen in the binder. The rest of them have been pretty bang on, to be fair to him. I'm trying to see now if anything else has any damage. There's another Yellow Cheeks Pikachu. But yeah, these are... This is cool as hell. I'm so buzzing that he's let me do this, because there's just hundreds of cards here that I haven't actually seen for a long time. That Arcanine, chewed up, but that was one of my favourite cards growing up as well. Yeah, I'm over the moon with this. Let's try and have a look at how much he's looking at with this. So let's go through here. We're going to have a look at the shinies now, and we're going to figure out what their sort of quality is, if they're in really good nick, if they're in really bad nick, and try and find out a price for all of them. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's start off over here. We have ourselves a Chansey. So the Chansey is, oh, I mean, it's super scratched up. You can see it's really scratched up, but I mean, all the centering seems it's very, very heavy on the right to the left. But still, I mean, this is one of the cards that wouldn't be the most desirable anyway. But you can still probably get a $5 for this. I think it is $4.98 on the market for just a regular played version of that card. So, I mean, that's still pretty good for the fact that it isn't in the best of nick. So then we have the Gyarados. Now, you will notice the Gyarados does have a lot of sort of leakage for the foil, and then the back is super whitened. So this wouldn't be worth an absolute ton. However, on the low end of the market, you're probably looking at about £7. If this was in top-notch condition, you're looking at about £150. Right then, here is a Scyther. Now, again, I'm assuming he played a lot with these cards, which is a good thing. It means he actually enjoyed these cards to their fullest. But again, it does mean that the actual price of these cards on this day and age is not going to be as good as what it could have been. But the price on this, if it was in fully fledged condition, would be around £302. But unfortunately, as it is in this condition, it is worth a lot less, probably around $10. But I mean, still, the thing is, as much as these cards may not be in the best nick, as a whole collection, they're still going to be worth a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Right then, the next card on this list is our Kangaskhan, right by here. Now, this Kangaskhan actually looks in decent nick. It does have some scratches, I mean, a fair ton of scratches on the front, and also some leakage here on the side. But in general, I mean, that's probably one of the nicer looking. This would go for, I'd say, you know, I mean, it's still heavily played, but it does have a lot more going for it than some of the other heavily played cards. But this card here is worth, if it was in its fullest condition, probably about 60 quid. So it's not a massive hitter anyway, but in this condition, you could sell it for a good £3.80, £4. Actually, before I carry on, all of the prices are in dollars. So at the end of this video, I'm actually going to change the conversion rate. So just bear with me. If you're American, you're laughing. That's the price you're looking at, is about $4. But I'll do the conversion rate at the end. So let me do all the maths on all the cards, and then we'll come at the end and make sure we know what it is in British pounds. And this electrode looks... Ooh, so this is one of the bad ones. Well, if you see that there, you can see a literal dent in the card. So, I mean, it's not in the best condition. However, this is one of the cards that, I mean, you don't mind having in worse condition anyway. This is worth about $8. I think $7.67 is the official amount of this condition. If this was in a perfect condition and PSA 10, it's be $130. So it does pay to take care of your cards, but it's just one of them things. We were kids when these came out, so you can't blame us. Right then, now for the big page. So we're gonna go. Oh, I tell you what, it's the easy page as well. We can pull them up from this side. So we'll start at the bottom. Oh my days! You know what? There is very little markings on this card. This is a really nice card. It's a little bit heavier on this side than on the right. But in general, I mean, it's got a few marks here at the top. You can't quite see it, but it is slightly scuffed here at the top. You really can't see it on camera, though. There you go. The light's just hitting it there. But in general, I mean, that is a pretty well-conditioned card. So let me look at the price of this one. So the price on this, if I can get it on my phone... So, in good condition, which I'd say this is, I'd say you're looking at about £15 raw. But if you had this graded, you could probably get a good 120 for a PSA 10. So this probably wouldn't be a PSA 10. It's probably be an 8. But I mean, that's still pretty good going. This is an old card, so the fact it's still in this sort of condition, I'd say, is very, very impressive. But let me pop this one back into the binder. Let me look now at the Pidgeot. So, again, it looks like this is the page of cards that Natty has taken care of, because there is not many scratches on the holographic itself. Again, it is a lot heavier on the left than the right, but that is not too much of a problem. And then there's the back there. Again, no real whitening. So, to be honest with you, that's pretty bang on as well. The price on this guy is looking at around $21. And then if this was PSA 10, probably around $110 you're looking at there. But yeah, I'm well impressed, actually. This page is turning out to look like it is in really good condition. Right then, so it looks like he did play with Hitmonchan a bit, because this guy's got a bit of a fold. His holographic is a little bit... I mean, it's only really where the fold is that the most damage is. There is a little bit of leakage of the holographic here and there, but it's not really the end of the world. On the back then, again, this looks like it's been folded in half. Or ever so slightly folded in half. But yeah, that isn't in the best of conditions. So I'd probably say this would go for around $6.49. But if this was PSA 10, you're looking at $115. So... one of those things, but again, I mean, that isn't in the worst of conditions. You could probably get a little bit more than just $6, but you're looking at a little bit less than the average. And here is our Clefable. So, now this one is quite scratched up. I can see from quite far away this one was quite scratched up. But again, it isn't the end of the world. This is one of the ones that I'd say you'd want to be scratched up in your collection. The only annoying thing is the centering is almost bang on this card. Then again, no, I'd say it's pretty good. It's a little bit heavy over here, but it is pretty good. There's the back there, and yeah, I mean, that's a nice looking card. That is a very nice looking card. A lot of scratches on the front, but I mean, it depends on what you're doing this for. If you're doing this as a collector to make money, then you wouldn't bother buying this. This is for the collector who just loves Pokemon and wants a master set. And I mean, if you want a master set, this is pretty much a huge bonus to get you close to it. Next card on the list is everyone's favourite, Chansey. Now, Chansey has got a load of scuffs on her holographic. So, again, marked down. But in general, The sides look pretty decent, heavier on this side than this side, but again, that seems to be the case with a lot of these cards. And a little bit of whitening up here on the top and along the top and bottom, to be honest. But again, this card is, I mean, I saw Deep Pocket Monster tear apart a load of chances not long ago. So this is one of the cards that you don't mind having in bad nick. But if this was in really good condition, then this is a $170 card. It's probably gone up in price because everyone keeps wrecking their chances. So there's a lower population. But in general, I think you probably get about $3-4 for this. The number one card in the collection, I don't mean number one as in literally the best. I mean, it is literally number one. This is, I tell you what, in lovely condition, this one. So there's not, I mean, I can't really see any marks on the actual holographic itself. The card looks in really good nick. The card looks in really good nick along the top. There is a little scuff at the top here on the left here, but that's not the end of the world. But in general, that's a really, ooh. So the whitening is at the bottom and the back. So there is a little bit of damage there. But again, this is pretty bang on. This is a pretty good looking card. Now, on average, this would get around $37. And I'd say this could reach probably really close to that. But if this was a PSA 10, this is one of the more depressing ones. This could be $650. So this is one of the cards you want to take care of if you do manage to pull it, especially if you pull it in the current situation, in the current world. Sorry, the price of the cards are huge. Right then, so now let's get to the big hitters. I'm going to start with Venusaur. We'll go in order. So the condition of this is, I mean, pretty bang on. There's not a lot wrong with this. Yeah, there's ever so slight bleeding of holo foil on the left here, or the left is the right of the card, but the left of the card. But you can't catch it on camera. In person, you can see it. Let me see if I give it some distance, you can see it. You can't at all. But yeah, there's a little bit. It's really not that bad. The fact that the camera's not picking up pretty much says it all. And there's a tiny little nick there. In all honesty, that is in really good condition. You're obviously not going to get a 10, but you could possibly get an 8 with some of the markings. Possibly a 7, but I'd say more than likely an 8. But this on an average, which I'd say is pretty close to, if not average, would be $55. Now, if this was PSA 10, this would be $440. So a little less than the Alakazam, which is shocking, but definitely one that you want to take care of. Then we have our Blastoise. Now, this bad boy is a little bit more scratched than the Venusaur. So it's got a little scratch at the bottom here on the holographic. It doesn't seem to have too much. It is a lot heavier on the left than the right. But other than that, literally, other than maybe these two scratch, there seems to be like a crossing over. See, there could be a print line. But other than that, this card is almost in perfect condition. Little whitening here, but in general, that is a really nice looking card. So, if I'm going to be honest, I'd happily say that is average, and that is a $75 card right there. But if this was somehow graded in PSA 10, I mean, it's not going to be. It'd probably be an 8 or a 9. This would be $624. So this is definitely one that you want to take care of if you manage to pull it. And then we're going to get to our... Now, this is the one I'm nervous about. I'm really curious at what this looks like. So, base set 2, Charizard. Now, there is a print line over here on the left. It's quite a glaring print line. You guys can see it there. And there is a lot of stuff going on over here on the right. So, this wouldn't get a 10 because the surfaces are just not good enough. But other than that, I mean, I'm trying to find... I mean, there's a little bit of whitening here at the bottom. This is a very nice looking Charizard card. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a really nice looking Charizard card. I'd argue that this could go for average because it is a little bit played, but there's not, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on in that holographic. it is, yeah, the surfaces might be a little bit off. The surfaces would definitely knock you down. And obviously the centering is far heavier on this side than this side, which has been the case for, I think, this entire set. But overall, I think this is, I mean, that is a stunning Charizard card. Now, if this was in PSA 10, this is a $5,000 card. Let that sink in for a second. If this was in PSA 10, this is a $5,000 card. Now, in average condition, which I'd say this is around about, this is worth $178. So, 100%, if you pull this, you're laughing. You are in a really good place. So, I mean, like I said, the surfaces on the holographic are far from perfect, but in general, that is I mean, it's a 25-year-old card that looks like this, so you can't really go wrong. So I'm a huge fan of the Charizard, massive fan of that. Right then, this is the other page of holographics, fully filled with holographics. Sorry, let me get this Kabutops out of here. Now, this Kabutops is jungle, and as you can see, there is some scratching, but there's very minor scratching to this holographic, and there's a little mark there which probably hasn't come off, but I think with a little bit of a rub it'll come off. But yeah, in general, actually, this is a really nice looking card. Bit of whitening on the back, which is to be expected, to be honest, but in general, pretty nice looking. I'd say that is just below average, but average price on this bad boy would be around $19. Again, PSA 10, $118. So it's always fun to know how much you could have. As depressing as it is, it's quite cool to think that these were all just sort of passed along kids as kids. They're passed along kids as kids. They're passed along children back in the day, and it blows my mind that these have become what they've become, and I absolutely love it. There is a few scratches on this. You can see one at the bottom there, one by the right wing. But again, little mark by there. Can I get rid of it? I think with a little bit of rubbing, I'd be able to get rid of that. But again, I think the centering on these jungle ones are a little bit better. Fossils, sorry. I think the centering on these fossils are slightly better than the centering on the base sets. But I think this reaches around the average price, which is around $23. But again, PSA 10, $289. So, fun and games. Now, Haunter, one of my favourite Pokemon. Gengar is an absolute beast. But here is the Haunter. Now, this does have a lot of leaked holographic on the side. You will probably struggle to see it on the camera, but around the edges of this, there's a lot of scratches. Not scratches, a lot of leakage. But the holographic itself looks pretty clean. I can't really see any marks. Maybe just one scratch coming from his head by there. There's a couple little marks, but there's not a whole ton. Centering on this isn't the best, but again, I mean, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of a fold at the top there where it looks like it's been dented ever so slightly. But in general, pretty nice looking card. On average, this gets around $10. On the low end of the scale, it gets around $2. But on the highest end of the scale, this is a $67 card. So in general, this whole collection is popping off in terms of price. Eventually, we'll find out the full price. But even on the worst cards, you're still finding a good bit of price-wise. You're getting a good return. Here is our Raichu. Now, Raichu is in pretty good nick as well. Few marks on the holographic, but in general, pretty nice looking. That is actually quite nicely centered, a little bit heavier on the left. I keep saying this, and it always ends up being heavier on the left, but generally, that is a really nice looking card. I'd say that is more than happy to be announced as average, if not a little bit better. Now, this is a $46 card. However, if this was in full-fledged nick, this is over an $1,000 card. Now, that may be incorrect because I'm struggling to get the price of this card in comparison to the first edition version, but this is over an $1,000 card. If it was first edition, it's $1,007. I'm not 100% sure how much this one's worth, but it's a very, very good card indeed. Now, here we have a first edition Machamp. Now, this is probably one of the most nostalgic cards for me. I don't know how many of these I actually pulled back in the day, but it seemed that I saw a lot of these. But there is a lot of damage on this card, which is very upsetting. I know Natty will be upset, but at the end of the day, can't really blame the guy. But a whole load of scratches on this, and a whole lot of leak from the holographic. But in general, I mean, the back's not actually that bad. The back looks a lot better than the front. The front, I mean, if you get into this holographic, you're looking at a lot of scratches. Very bad quality on the actual holographic itself. However, on average, this card gets $11. In full-fledged, good-looking, no problems, it is an $800 card. So this was the one I was sort of really eager to find out what the price was, because, again, if it was in really good condition, it's a good, nice, pricey card. Obviously, nothing really compares to that Charizard. Next card. Ooh, Dark Weezing. Right then, so this card is, I mean, from where I'm sat, in really good condition. This is a holographic. This is like the least holographic I think I've ever seen. It doesn't even look holographic on the actual phone. I'm even looking now to make sure it is holographic. It's definitely holographic, but it just doesn't seem to have a whole ton of holographic to it. But this is actually in really nice condition. This is one of the nicest condition cards. A little bit of whitening on top, a little bit of whitening on the bottom, but in general, that is a really nice looking card. On average, $773. In Big Bad Boy, it is the most stunning card in the world. PSA 10 would be $332. So, hugely priced, but yeah, I'd say this is a good average card, and that is $773. So that's not bad, that. Now we have the Arbok card. I was looking at the back to make sure the back's okay, but there's a little bit of white there. But here is the front. Now, the front looks in decent condition. Let's have a look at the actual holographic. Holographic looks nice. Little bit of, I mean, you could see it when I was flashing through. There you go. A lot of holographic leaking here on the left. And almost, I mean, there's something going on there, to be honest. Don't know what that is, but yeah, that is a little bit more mangled than some of the other ones, but I really like the face on the actual snake on this one. The face on that is stunning. But as an average price, you're looking at around $12. But if this was a PSA 10, then this is a $149 card. So that is more or less $150 sat right there. If that was in a perfect condition, then we do have ourselves, if I can get him out without pulling everything out, Dark Doug Trio. Again, holographic, looks real nice. I assume some of these were later into Natty's collecting, so he wasn't so busy battling with them. He was more just putting them in his binder and looking at them. But there is a little bit of leakage on the left and right, and maybe at the bottom. But in general, that is a really nice looking card. Now, on average, this card is a $28 card. If this was PSA 10, this is a $223 card. So this is a decent card to have in your collection. And in all honesty, I'd say this would go for average, because it's only really the holo leak on the sides, and people don't tend to care so much about that. But yeah, that is a real nice looking card. Pop that back and get to the final card that we're going to be looking at. That is this right here, the Vaporeon. Now, the Jungle Vaporeon is very, very popular, but you will notice straight away that the heavy border is here at the bottom, and the other ones, I mean, in all honesty, if I had it like that, you'd think, my God, the centering on that is stunning. But the centering is a little bit heavier on the bottom, but I don't think that's... I mean, if I was a collector that was buying these off Natty, I wouldn't care so much about that. That's not the end of the world. I just show everyone like this. But the holographic itself, it looks... I mean, it's got a bit... there's a lot more scratching in the sunlight or in the light than there was by the naked eye. But in general, I mean, I really like this card. There's not a lot of marks on the back. I mean, it's mainly the damage to the holographic itself that seems to be the real downfalls on this. But again, I wouldn't say that's too bad. The average price on this is $124. So that is a pretty good price for an average card. But the highest, if you had a PSA 10, would be around $450. So fairly big money, to be fair. It's just mental how much all of this can add up. But what I'm going to do I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually add all up the prices that I've just gone through with you guys. And I'll go through what I think the actual price of all of the holographics in this is worth. I'm not going to go through the price of all of the non-holos. What I'll do is I'll save that for another time. We can sort of work with that together. Maybe do it on a live stream, and together we'll just go through the whole binder and we'll get a price for every single card in the entire binder. There's I've done these. I have done them. But yeah, that is the binder that Natty owns from his childhood. I'm super impressed with this. I really wish I had mine. It kind of depresses me now that I've got a Pokemon channel that I don't have all of my old Pokemon stuff. It really does bother me. But it's not the end of the world. We are still able to enjoy it all, and that is what matters. So yeah, let me go and get the overall prices, and then I'll do the outro. Right then, so I've been doing some maths like a scientist. So here are all of the prices that we were looking at. I'm not going to show you the actual end amounts right now, but this is what I was looking at. I started off writing their names and their prices, and I thought, bugger that. I'm not going to sit here and write their names and prices. But we did come out with a final amount. So this is the price of the average price of every card. Now, some of them were less than average, but I'd say some of them were better than average. So I kind of wanted to just put it in the middle ground and get a rough average price. So this is all of the numbers together. Now, this equates to $770.66. And that is just for the holographics. Now, in pounds, the conversion rate, that is £570. Almost bang on, and 5 pence it is. So, yeah, I mean, that is pretty impressive considering it's just the holographics. I think once we go through and find the real sort of money makers with the non-holos and the sets, I think that's where this will really gain some value. But I think in general, this is probably £1,000 worth of Pokemon cards overall. Maybe less. I mean, it probably is a little bit less. But I'd really like to know what the overall price is for every single card. But yeah, if you're looking at just holographics and you've got your old binder at home and your old binder looks like this, you could be laughing. Because if you look at this, there's only 21 holographics, and that is worth nearly £600. So it's £570 and $770. That is insane. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. I am super jealous of Natty and his Pokemon binder. This is cool as hell. I'm hugely appreciative to Natty as well for letting me do this and go through this. That is super cool. The fact he trusts me as well to take care of his cards. I'm over the moon. But yeah, guys, dig out your old Pokemon collections because you could be sat on a treasure trove. Go and have yourselves a wonderful week. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel because we're going to try and do more stuff like this in the future. But yeah, mind blown. Honestly, can't believe it. Can't believe it's worth this much money. But yeah, go and have a wonderful time, guys. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you soon. Cheers.
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe?
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe? It'll help me and Natty continue to do the work that we're doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thanks.